Yes. It's always the skinny ladies. The skinny ladies. Freezing. Okay, I think we are live. All right, we're live. So, good evening, everybody. I was almost going to make you say good evening again. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live stream. My name's Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending the next 50 minutes or so with you this evening. We're going to discuss what this business is all about, more importantly, what this opportunity is all about. After the presentation, you're welcome to then come ask me any questions that you might have. All right, shall we begin? Okay, so as you can see, DuePoint is a division of a business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. Been around for nearly 70 years. That's their building in the background. They're down the road here in Randburg. That's their branding that they use. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there. That's very important. That is our seal of authority, of approval, of regulatory. It's a regulatory tick box, something that you should deem very important. If you notice outside above the water cooler, we've got all these certificates up on the wall. Those are our Financial Services Board licenses. So go take a look at those. We've got a license to operate in the short and long-term insurance space. We've got an investment license. We've got our FSP license on display. We've got our accreditation with the direct marketing and the direct selling associations. So go look at those. You have to trust the business we're going to be speaking about. That's the first step, really, is that you trust the company that we're going to be proposing to you this evening. So you're welcome to go do a background check on us. You can go Google us. You can go look for more information on our website, on Constantia's website. We're part of a group called Conduit Capital, which is listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. So I hope you deem our business credible. The individuals involved in our business, at least the leadership, our senior executives, our managers, are these people up on screen, starting with the three characters on the far left who are all registered chartered accountants. Brendan is our head executive, our senior executive. He's very experienced in the financial industry, in insurance particularly, because his father has been involved in insurance all his life, and very successfully so. So Dr. Brian Benfield, he started Clientele Life, he started the IFA, he started Prime Meridian Direct with his son, so Brendan and his brother Stuart founded the short-term insurer down the road. I think they're the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country already, and that's after, I think, 13 years of operation. So they've had a lot of success in the space. They've got businesses overseas in Europe. They even did business in Australia, I think. So they've had a lot of success and a lot of experience in the business. So we're very lucky to have Brendan heading up this division. Tim and Stacey, they look after the auditing, the accounting, the financial aspects of our business. Serves them right for doing accounting at Varsity. Tim is very experienced in corporate banking particularly. He was with the First Rand Group for about 15 years where he reported directly to the CEO, so he was quite senior there. Stacey worked in auditing all her career. You can see she's a lot younger than the rest of us, but she worked for Deloitte here in South Africa as well as overseas in Europe before she came back to South Africa. So those are the boring accountants. Then myself and Jane. Jane is very experienced in network marketing or referral marketing. She's from the UK, so she brings wonderful international experience to our team, because even though we're an insurance company, that's what we are, we're an insurance company, our growth is dependent on our ability to work in the network marketing space. And Jane brings that experience to the team, which is obviously very fundamental to us. And then myself, I've been working in marketing and advertising for over 20 years. I ran my own agency for about 15 of those years. And this is our team, our mandate. We've got client service staff, we've got admin staff, but our mandate as staff of DuePoint is to support everybody that joins us in this endeavor. So every single person that comes into this business, we want to support you. We want to see you successful. We want to see you effective, because if those things happen, we can be profitable as a business. And at the end of the day, we want to be a profitable business, right? So know that we support you in any way that we can. We've invested a lot in technology that also assists you in building this business for yourselves. So that's a bit of background on us and the business. Very quickly, we have to pay cognizance to the circumstance that we find ourselves in. Right? Unfortunately, it's all negative. You can see it's negative when the slide starts with the word debt on the screen. Anyone love the word debt? Why do you have so much of it if you don't like it? Right? So the majority of South Africans are indebted. We have very high interest rates. We've got a high inflation. Food inflation is astronomically high, without any prospect of improvement on the horizon, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say. We were in a recession for a very long time. I think personally, South Africans try to remedy the circumstance that they find themselves in by engaging in debt instruments. So very often we get criticized that as a country, as an economy, we engage too much in debt instruments and not enough in savings and investment products. And what happens is if you can't remedy your debt, so you'll know you can't remedy your debt because I bet that majority of us, our salaries are devaluing against what the cost of living is increasing by. So I often ask the audience, how many people have received a raise in their salaries in line with what inflation is? So inflation has been between 7 and 5%. It's come down a little bit, but between 7 and 5% over the last 6 or 7 years. Has your salary gone up 6-7% every year for the last 7 years? Majority of us say, no, it hasn't. Your salary is actually less than what it was 7 years ago, right? And that's why at the end of the month, you can feel that things are getting more expensive, right? Because we have to now do these cost-cutting exercises. We have to figure out ways of how we're going to get through the month. And unfortunately, debt becomes part of the solution. But it isn't really part of the solution. Because what happens is you find yourself in a debt cycle that you can't get out of. Because your salary isn't catching up with inflation. And this comes to a head when we get to retirement. Because what you're supposed to be doing over the 45 years of working, you should be placing yourself in a position by creating an investment that you are contributing to every month. You've got to place yourself in a position where you can enjoy a dignified retirement, right? And the majority of South Africans don't get to that position, ever. 3% of our population get to retirement financially independent. 3%. That's like pretty much everybody is going to get to retirement and realize you haven't done enough, right? And what this presentation is about is empowering you to change that circumstance, to change that prospect. But you've got to do it for yourselves, right? This is just a vehicle that is on offer for you to do that. So out of all of this negativity, we as a business, we saw an opportunity to create a platform that the average South African can engage in to change that circumstance for themselves. So the DuePoint system was born 2 years ago. So in February, we'll be 24 months old, 2 years old. We launched the DuePoint system, and as I said, it's an opportunity for you to engage in a system whereby you just bring people to DuePoint, you connect people to us, right? And our online facility will facilitate the sale of product to those people. That's as simply as this business works. What happens is you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers, and as wealth engineers, that's what you're going to be doing, connecting people to DuePoint. Our online platform facilitates the sale of products, and the benefit for you is that you get to create additional income for yourself. That's why you're really here this evening, right? That's why you thought, I'm coming to DuePoint because I want to make extra money. But the money that we create here, the income that we create is recurring income. So this is very important. Some people refer to this as passive income. I fondly refer to my father's description of it as the ability to make money while you're sleeping. Did you know that was possible? That you can make money while you're sleeping? It's possible, right? Most certainly. There are some businesses that create recurring income. It is the money that you make out of an asset that you own, right? So if you went the traditional route and you started investing money into a pension fund or a retirement or some investment, you're building an asset with the hope that that asset will pay out interest, right? That's passive income. So we get to do a similar thing. It's actually something that's inherent to insurance companies. Insurance companies create recurring income through a book value that we have. So the book value creates us income every single month. It is your ability to make money without having to chase that money every month. So if you're involved in services, like my business was, so the agency I ran was a service-based business, we would have to do the work to earn the money. We never got to a position where we could just sit back and the money would come in anyway, right? We had designers, developers that would have to be sitting in front of their computers, programming or designing to make us money. The same for electricians, the same for lawyers, the same for hairdressers, the same for plumbers, the same for doctors. You want to rid yourself of time constraint, because if you don't, you get to retirement realizing, well, if I want to earn money, I have to keep working. And that's what I realized 5 years ago, is that I'm going to be doing this until I die, right? I want to create a business that pays out recurring income. And this is what we get to do here. We also leverage, so we harness the power of duplication in this business. Again, this is a benefit that allows you to free yourself of time constraint. Because I imagine everyone's got very busy personal lives, right? You might have families, you've got a day job. you have very little time to sacrifice to an additional business. So let's say, for example, you only have an hour to contribute to DuePoint once a day. But because of the way we've designed the system, we allow you to go out and find like-minded individuals to collaborate with you. So for example, if you go out and find 20 people to help you in this business, now suddenly you've leveraged yourself 20 times. If each of those people are investing 1 hour into the business, now suddenly you've got 21 hours being invested into your business on a daily basis. That is leverage. That is what your boss does to the rest of us, right? You look at any structure in the country, whether it's government, the army, or business, the structure is like that. It is built on leverage. The guy at the top, guess who gets paid the most? The guy at the top, right? We harness a similar facility in this business. Picture yourself as a CEO of this business when you start it, because that's exactly what it's going to be. Flexi time. So the business is flexi time. It is the luxury of deciding when you want to do the business. It's not a full-time business, not a part-time business. It's a flexi time business. Right? So you can decide, I want to do it for 15 minutes a day, I want to do it for an hour a day, I only want to do it on weekdays, I only want to do it on weekends, or I want to do it in the mornings. You get to decide what that looks like. But you have to keep yourself accountable. If you want to be successful in this business, you have to keep yourself accountable. You can't treat it like a New Year's resolution. You can't treat it like a hobby. Right? This is just a tip from me. I'm being frank with you, right? If you want to be successful in any endeavor, you've got to do it when you don't feel like it. Right? So as much as it's flexi time, try to keep yourself accountable to being consistent in your engagement with this business. There's no startup capital. We don't have registration fees to become a wealth engineer. We certainly don't have boxes of product that you have to buy and invest in to start in this business, right? Because that's capital outlay, right? So we make this business as risk-free as possible for people to engage in. There's no qualifications or experience requirements in our business. I tease everybody. I said, did everyone drop their CVs off at reception? Right? We don't care about CVs, fortunately. At the same time, we're operating in financial services. If you know anything about financial services, you'll know that it is probably one of the most onerous industries to work in because of the amount of regulation that they place on us that we have to abide by. We just got new regulation just before Christmas. The Financial Services Board sent all the FSPs new regulation called PPR. Now, Brendan has had to type up over 10,000 words in answer to that regulation. Is that my phone? The rule is if your phone rings, you've got to do the presentation. So I'm safe. I thought I'd put it on silent. Sorry, guys. Right, so we have designed the system to keep you out of that obligation with regards to financial service regulation. So you can enjoy the benefit of being in financial services without that concern. Probably the most important benefit for me is that you get to build an asset that you have ownership over. So this channel of distribution that you're going to be building in this business, you have legal tender over it. That means that you're building a business that you own. Right? If we are employed, we're not doing that. You're going to be working for somebody else for 40, 45 years where you really have nothing to show for it after 40, 45 years. Right? You have to partake in the downside of that business. So if that business starts doing badly, or the industry is doing badly, or the economy is doing badly, you get told, sorry, we can't give you a raise this year because of whatever circumstance. If the business does really badly, they say we have to go through a retrenchment process. Right? And you don't get to enjoy the upside. Because if your business that you work for, the company you work for, does really well, you don't go home and say, oh, our shares in that business have gone up because the business is doing well. Or my boss paid me double this month because we had a really good month. Right? That's only for the top salespeople in the business or the executives. The majority of us don't get to partake in that upside. In this business, you're building something that you have ownership over. That's very important because it means you can sell it one day. It has residual value. If it's paying out recurring income, that has residual value that you can sell. We've had plenty channels that have been sold in the last year alone. The business will keep paying you when you're retired. Your day job, you'll be retired from your day job, but this DuePoint business can carry on paying you. It'll carry on paying once you die because the value just doesn't disappear, right? We've allowed you to create a legal tender over this document. Over this business. You can give it to your children. It can form part of your estate when you die. You can leave it in your will, and it can have value that'll carry on paying your children, perhaps your grandchildren. Legacy, right? So you get to build legacy in this business. Very important. No selling involved in our business. That's a great thing. Majority of us don't like to sell, right? Some do, but majority of us don't. So it's a wonderful thing. We've actually contracted you out of selling. So you don't speak about our products. You don't have to sell our products. All you're going to be doing is going to tell people about an opportunity, a financial opportunity that exists. Isn't that way more attractive? Right? If you go out to people and you say, I've got a financial opportunity, do you want to make extra money? Or do you go to someone and say, I've got an insurance product you want to buy? What is more attractive? Right? This one. Right? And this is what we speak about. We connect people to financial opportunity in this business. That's all you're tasked with. The nature of our products, though, are financial in nature. This, again, is a great benefit because, like I joked, we don't have boxes of product. You didn't have to bring your bucky this evening to go home with lots of product this evening. Don't have to sell milkshakes on the weekends. Our milkshakes don't expire here, right? And you can have any flavor you want. So our financial products make it as convenient as possible to engage with. But your success in our business is very much predicated on your ability to go out and build what we call this channel of distribution. Okay, so it begins with you. Remember I said you picture yourself as the CEO of your business, because that's really what you are. You're going to go out, and because we've built leverage into the business, you're going to go out and find people that will collaborate with you, people that are taken by the opportunity, that also want to change their financial circumstance. And if you're successful in that, and you can get people to come sit in a presentation like this and decide they want to become DuePoint wealth engineers, they take out one of our products, that is the beginning of your channel of distribution. And then what happens is that it takes on a life of its own, potentially, right? You have the power duplication that now starts to happen. Because the individuals that you brought into the business, they're doing exactly the same thing you're doing. They're going out and finding people that want to become DuePoint wealth engineers. And so after a certain amount of time, your channel of distribution can look like this. My hope is that you will build a sustainable business that is built on quality individuals that you brought into the business. Because if I'm the CEO, the people that I'm bringing into the business, I'm bringing in my board of executives, a board of directors. I'm not putting up a gazebo on the street corner and saying, anyone who wants a job, come to my gazebo, I'm going to sign you up. Right? That's not how you build sustainable business. So my hope always is that when you think about the people that you're going to bring into the business, you're thinking about resourceful people, people you can depend on, people that are going to thrive and be effective in this business. Because it'll translate into sustainable business. What is the benefit of sustainable business? A sustainable business that creates recurring income is one that makes you money while you're sleeping. So in a few years' time, you can be in the position where you can take a 3-month holiday and know that DuePoint's going to pay you every single month because your business is sustainable. It's working on its own. You don't have to nurse it, right? In employment, it's the opposite. Because you've got a contract that says you work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, and then I pay you. You want a 3-month holiday? Sign the resignation letter here. You can take as much holiday as you want. Right? That's the only prospect of us ever having a 3-month holiday. Seriously. Labor Act says 15 days a year. That's what you get. Right? And if you're lucky, your boss gives you a little more and a little more and a little more. You work for 10 years, maybe you've got 21 days. Woohoo! Empower ourselves. Employment is not what our lives are meant to be like, right? So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. Our disclaimer slide. So this is my warning slide because people arrive at presentation and they think, perhaps they fear, that they've been invited to one of these get-rich-quick scheme businesses. Anyone been to a get-rich-quick scheme presentation? Don't lie. Put your hands up. Right? I think all of us have been exposed to at least one or two of these. I know when I was in my 20s, there was a proper pyramid scheme going around. It was blatant. You bring me 5,000 rand, right? And you bring me another 5 people with 5,000 rand and I'll give you 20,000 rand. It was as blatant as that. Fortunately, I never put money in, but I was quite interested, to be honest. Right? We are not one of those businesses. We are a very reputable business that has been working in the financial services space for nearly 7 decades. We're one of the few registered insurance companies in the country. You might think every company that offers insurance is an insurance company. It isn't. There are only about 12 insurance companies in South Africa. Constantia is one of them. Very reputable individuals working here. And as people that have started businesses of their own, some of which have failed, we can appreciate how hard and how difficult and what it takes to be successful in business. And so we have this picture of this ballerina up on screen. Because we look at entrepreneurship and we romanticize entrepreneurship, right? We look at our successful entrepreneur friend. It looks like the ballerina in a ballet pump at the State Theatre. But to be a professional dancer that gets to the State Theatre, that's what your foot looks like under the ballet pump. You take away the pretty glossiness of entrepreneurship, of successful entrepreneurship. There is someone that has endured blood, sweat, and tears, who has worked, who has probably dumped life savings into a business to try and make it successful. You speak to any successful entrepreneur, there's a long story behind their success. In this business, it's no different. If you want to change your life, the prospect of what you can expect in the next few years, 10 years, retirement, your children's lives, you've got to be prepared to work for it, right? You've got to be aggressive about it. So this is our warning slide. Don't think this is a get-rich-quick scheme, as attractive as a get-rich-quick scheme might be. Success doesn't come easily in life. Okay. So let's get on to how we earn in this business. There are two ways to earn. So one is through our returns program. That is the recurring income you're going to create in this business, right? Our returns program is the recurring income. There's a second way to earn, that's through our rewards program. So that's like an incentive program. That's the fun we have in the business. Let's discuss the returns program. So how do we create recurring income? We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that ends up in your channel, right? So remember the first 5 individuals you introduced to the business? Those people lie on your first point. See, in relation to you, they're on your first point, and on your first point, you can see we pay you double the R27.50. We end up paying you R55 for every product on your first point every month. Remember, it's recurring income. Every month you get that. The second point grows. Remember, your business now starts to grow. On your second point, again, we pay you R55. On your third point, the multiplier drops back down to 100%, so it's R27.50. And then as your business starts to grow further and further away from you, the multiplier starts to drop. By point 8, you had 4% of the R27.50, but we don't limit you there, right? We've got wealth engineers closing in on point 30 already in 24 months. They aren't limited at point 8. We will keep paying you the 4% from point 8 in theory into infinity. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get. We don't limit you on how much money you can earn at DuePoint, ever. Okay, so this is the mechanics of the returns. It's fairly straightforward. The next question we get is, well, how much money do people earn in this business? I understand the R55 per product, but how much money are we talking? What can I expect? So we built this thing called the Path to Success. It is a projection that we designed for the next 5 years. So for the next 60 months, we've said if you can bring 2 people into the business. So we actually start off with 3 people. We call it the 3+2 growth formula. All right? So that's the premise. So in your first month, so everyone's lucky because it's the beginning of February. You've got the whole month. So by example, you bring 3 people into the business in your first month, and then every consecutive month thereafter, for the next 60 months, you only have to bring in 2 people. So it's 3 in February, 2 in March, 2 in April, 2 in May, 2 in June, 2 in July. You keep going into perpetuity, just 2 a month. If you can follow that growth formula, you can expect to earn these numbers. R2,500 after 6 months of work. Who's bitterly disappointed by that number? Don't lie, you can put up your hands, right? I was a little disappointed. I saw the example because the accountants came up with this. The accountants come up with the numbers, and then I make it look pretty, right? So when they sent it to me, they said, make this look pretty. I said, I can't make R2,500 look pretty. 6 months of work. No one's going to join this business for R2,500 after 6 months of working. But then the accountants explained to me that it's not once-off income. It's recurring income. And there is power behind recurring income, right? I'm going to illustrate it for you because I assume the majority of us have got debt. Yes? Paying off your debt faster is the same as investing. Do you realize this? You realize this, right? It's the same process. If you pay your debt off faster, it's the same as investing, right? But on the other side of investing is spending. So if I give you R2,500, I know that majority of us already know what we can buy with R2,500. We've already spent it in our heads, right? I've already got a list of stuff I want. I want that I haven't bought yet, and if I have that corresponding number, I can buy that thing on my list of stuff I want, right? This is how consumers think. This is how the economy wants us to think, right? The economy does well when consumers are spending, right? It's almost, doesn't even make sense to me, right? R2,500 recurring income. Here's an example of someone with R1 million debt. So they've got a bond for R1 million. They found a house. They didn't have the money. The bank gave them the money. You got into a bond contract that said over the next 20 years I'll pay the money back to the bank. On R1,000,000 at prime plus 2, you're paying back about 11,500 rand a month back to the bank, right? At current interest rates. So I'm 40 today. I make my final installment. I become a homeowner for the first time when I'm 60. How depressing is that? Anyway, I joined DuePoint, and 6 months later, with some success, I'm earning 2,500 rand a month. And Rob says, don't spend the money like a consumer. Pay your debt off first. Pay your debt off first, because this business is about creating wealth, but you can't create wealth if you owe other people money, right? So we've got to pay our debt off first. So I decided, okay, I'll put the 2,500 rand into the bond as an additional payment. Do you know what happens to that money that I'm paying back to the bank? I can pay that house off in 11 and a half years instead of 20 years. 2,500 rand. Think about this. You're paying 11,500 rand, right? 2,500 rand is about 20% of that. You just pay an extra 20% and you'll halve the term of the bond. How's that for maths that doesn't add up? Right? That's compound interest. You're either on the good side of compound interest or you're on the bad side of compound interest. And it is rough on the bad side of compound interest. You'll pay the house off. So I'll pay the house off by the age of 51. Do you know how much money that saves me? In interest that I don't have to pay because I paid my loan off faster. I've saved myself nearly R1,000,000 rand in interest repayments. The whole house's value was R1,000,000 rand. There's a massive sway, a massive unbalance that exists there, right? That's why we want to pay our debt off as quickly as possible. At month 12, if you didn't think 2,500 rand was enough, at month 12 you're earning nearly 10,000 rand a month, in excess of 100,000 rand in annual recurring income. Who would like a 100,000 rand check every Christmas? 100,000 rand check there for Christmas. That's a Christmas present to yourself every year, once a year. How would that feel? All those items in my shopping list, right, will be taken care of. You keep going, after 24 months, you're at nearly 30,000 rand a month. It doesn't matter how much money you earn. Extra 30,000 rand a month is notable, right? You keep going, after 36 months, you're nearly at 50,000 rand a month. At the 30-month mark, here's another example of bond, of debt. 30-month mark, you're earning about 36,000 rand a month. If you've got a 5 million rand bond, and you decide to place that 36,000 rand into that bond as an additional payment, you'll become a homeowner of that 5 million rand house in less than 7 years. So at the age of 47, I'll have paid my house off. Now I can start creating wealth. We create wealth by owning assets or investments that appreciate, right? So I buy another house. I decide I want to invest in property. Everyone's talking about property is a great investment. I go, okay, let's try it. I buy another house, 5 million rand. 7 years later, I've paid that one house off too. Now I've got 2 houses. I buy a third house. At the age of 61, I've now paid off the third house. I'm now retired. I live in my 5 million rand house that I paid off when I was 47. I've got 2 other houses I'm renting out for 60,000, 70,000 rand a month. What is DuePoint paying me after 21 years? Do you think I care whether I'm getting a day job salary or not? Right? I have to make the decision 20 years before I get to enjoy the real fruits of that decision. Right? We keep going. Year 4, at 48 months, you're close to 70,000 rand a month. After 5 years, 60 months, you've created for yourself about R1,000,000 rand in annual recurring income. How about R1,000,000 rand check every Christmas? What would that mean for your family if you came home with R1,000,000 rand check every Christmas? Every Christmas. Not once off. Think about that. I bet you can't even connect with that because the number's too big. Do you know how you break it down? If R1,000,000 rand every year seems like too much, do you know how you break it down? You break it down by starting with 2,500 rand at month 6. Because that's where it begins. It has to start there, right? You can turn your noses up at 2,500 rand and say, that's not going to afford me much. But that's the path to R1,000,000 rand check once a year. But you can argue that this is theory, which it is. It's just academic, right? It's just something the accountants came up with. They said, oh, you do this every month. This is how much you can have approximately after 60 months. But we've got wealth engineers that have been here for 2 years. I can show you their experiences. I can show you their stories, right? Someone accused me of the other day. I said, no, these are actors that you're bringing up. Got actors on the payroll. So here's Mike and Vilna. You can see they joined on the 6th of February. They've been here for very close to 2 years. So in 5 days' time, it'll be 2 years. They are the value of their channel in October, in the middle of January. So it might have been a bit higher by the end of January, but it was about 10,000 rand a month, right? So they were doing less than 3 plus 2. Because remember, 3 plus 2 said 27,000 rand after 2 years. They're only at 10,000 rand. Don't you think they should have given up? Is it worth your time? 2 years of work to get to 10,000 rand a month? Is it worth your time? You think so? More lying to me. Right? Because as a consumer, it's not worth your time. You don't think it's worth your time. But let me illustrate another point to you. Because this is a question I bet majority of you can't even answer. How much money do you need in your investment? So when you get to retirement, you're going to look at how much money you saved, right? How much money is in your pension fund or your retirement fund or whatever it is. Because that's going to pay you out interest that you have to live off when you are retired. So how much money do you need to have in a bank account or an investment to pay yourself out 10,000 rand a month? Anyone know? See, the wealth engineers are answering. The guests are supposed to answer, right? So it's 2 million rand. Who's currently on their way to saving 2 million rand in their retirement fund? Now ask yourself again the question. Is it worth spending 2 years to create the equivalent of 2 million rand in investments for yourself? Right? It's easy to look at 3 plus 2 and go, that's not enough for me. We need to change our perception of the value of money. Because if we only think like consumers, it's going to get us into trouble in the long term. Use money to leverage your position. Spingile from Tembisa joined 1 year ago. Her business was at nearly 13,000 rand a month in value in January. Right? Everybody's different. And this is a gogo. Right? Her testimony, you got to go listen to her testimony. It's all in Zulu, and I didn't understand most of it, and I thought it was hilarious. Right? I picked up that she prospects at funerals and weddings. Right? Wonderful testimony. Go watch it on YouTube. Rena van Straten, she's been here same time as Mike. They joined on the same day. Very experienced couple in networking. They've been doing networking since she got out of school. Right? And she's been through all the businesses. She said to me, Rob, I think I've been part of about 100 network marketing businesses in my lifetime. And I'm happy to say that she says DuePoint does not compare to the rest of them. She says it is the most amazing business. She hung back in the first year. We hardly saw her, right? She was watching from the sidelines. She thought, another business, another network marketing business. But in the last 2 years, we've proved to her that we're committed to everything that we say in this business. And now she's fully committed to the business. 30,000 rand a month. And that was her when she was half committed, right? My point is everyone has got a different story. Everyone's got a different experience. Everyone is running a different race. We've got thousands of wealth engineers joining this business every single month. People that are creating additional incomes for themselves, whether it be small or whether you might think they've created a lot of money for themselves. The point is it's additional recurring income that can empower you to change your future. So this is our recurring income. This is the returns program, right? So there's a second way to earn. That is through our rewards program. So this is the fun that we have. You can see it as an incentive program. How it works is when you start doing wealth engineer things, like coming to presentations like this, bringing guests with you, doing home presentations, watching our training, logging into your app. When you do all these things, about 20 different things that you can do, it'll earn you something called XP. It earns you experience points. And when you start collecting all these experience points and your channel, your business starts to grow, we reward you along the way, right? So this is the rewards table. It starts at rank 1. You can see when you join as a wealth engineer, you start out as actually rank 0. So you're not on the slide. Not important to us, right? You're not even on the slide. So to get to rank 1 is fairly straightforward. You need 1,000 XP, right? You need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you meet those 2 criteria, bang, suddenly you are rank 1 wealth engineer, and we reward you with a once-off 55 Rand reward at the end of that month that you ranked up. Always say, go buy some cake and celebrate your success, your early success at DuePoint. Humble beginnings. Because as you start collecting more XP and your business starts to grow, the rewards get bigger and better. Right? There's a 20,000 Rand check waiting for you, a 50,000 Rand check. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help them build their channels more effectively. So here at rank 5, Patrick and Pumi got this little fancy memory stick that plugs into any device. It can plug into cell phones, tablets, computers, laptops, TVs nowadays, right? Doesn't matter whether it's Apple, Android, banana, it plugs into everything. More importantly, we got all our video collateral on that little USB stick, so that Patrick and Pumi can show anyone the business opportunity regardless of what device they have around them. At rank 7, we get these premium business cards manufactured. One set of business cards on its own costs us just over 20,000 Rand for one set of cards. But if we print them in pairs, then the printer gives us a better price. So if we get them done in pairs, it costs us 12,500 Rand a set. Who would spend that much money on business cards? These are luxury, premium business cards. Let me tell you, no one in the country has business cards like this, right? Why would we go to such an extent for business cards? Because prospecting in this business has got a fairly unique situation. When you go out and you speak to somebody about DuePoint, odds are they've never heard of us before. It's not like you're going out and saying, oh, it's Investec, right? It's DuePoint. Constantia traditionally has only dealt with other FSPs. They've never dealt with the consumer before. So we don't really have any brand value or brand equity. But I promise you, if you put a 12,500 Rand business card on the table, that's 4 times thicker than your friend's business card, is 50 times more valuable, and is shining because the edges and the logo are gilded in gold, your credibility suddenly raises. And it affords you a few more minutes to explain what this DuePoint business is all about and how do you get business cards like that, right? These are tools to help you be more effective. And rank 9, very exciting, because this is a recurring reward. So this is something that you get every year, not like the other rewards. Those are all just once-offs. This happens every year. We take you and your family business class flights. So we pick you up at your door, right? Take you to the airport. You get onto a business class flight with your kids. We take you to our international conference, which is a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip. And then we bring you back on your business class flight and we drop you at your doorstep again. And when you get to your doorstep, you realize you forgot your wallet at home and you didn't notice. Right? So take a look, because we've just come back from our first rank 9 trip. Right? Our first rank 9 conference. We documented it nicely so you can see what it's all about.
All of your wind has gone, and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun, where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that can be you every single year. We've got 10 months till our next rank 9 trip. In December we go again. But we don't have any time limits on our XP Rewards program. So if you don't make this year's trip, you carry on towards making next year's trip, right? We don't reset you back to 0 is my point. So you can take as long as you want. Half our wealth engineers got to rank 9 in less than a year. You can take a year, 2 years. One gentleman did it in 5 months. Right? Up to you how quickly you want to get there. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 buying a brand new car for our wealth engineer. No T's and C's, no give it back after 3 months. You can only drive it on Mondays. You've got to share it with somebody else. None of that rubbish, right? We buy the car cash in your name. You drive it off our parking lot. We take a couple of photos. That's it. That's at rank 11. Our program goes up to rank 28. This is still early days. You might think you've arrived at rank 11. You are only getting warmed up at rank 11, right? I'm hoping this presentation will set your imaginations free with the prospect of what can happen for you. Don't limit yourself to the car at rank 11. I want you to get to rank 28. We've mapped out the next 20 to 30 years for our wealth engineers in this business already. We've already envisioned what it looks like and documented it. Right? Do the same for yourself. There's a third way to benefit. That's through our wealth quests. So a wealth quest is a challenge that we issue to our wealth engineers every month. So it runs from the first day of the month to the last day of the month. So today's the first day of the month. This is our brand new wealth quest. It's called the Triple Lightning Qualifier, where we challenge you to bring 3 people into your business and qualify them this month. Right? So to qualify somebody, they've got to get 3 people of their own. So you've got to bring 3 people into your business. You've got to support them so that they can get 3 people of their own. And if you can do that all in the month of February and their debit orders get paid successfully, because that's the most important part, you will get the choice of going home with an iPhone, an iPad, or a big screen LED smart TV at the end of the month. And on top of that, we'll give you 3,000 XP. A little bit of stimulation for February, right? We get asked, well, how does DuePoint afford all of this? How does the business model work? We've had a couple of people come and say, oh, the business model doesn't seem to make sense because it seems like you're spending too much money on your wealth engineers. So this basically illustrates our business model. Traditional insurance companies spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising on a daily basis. So Prime Meridian up the road spend a fortune on advertising on a daily basis, right? That's the bread of their business. They know they've got to spend so much money to get so many people to phone their call center and inquire about products. At DuePoint, we don't spend a cent on advertising. You won't see a DuePoint logo outside of our building. Instead, we depend on our wealth engineers. The people that have decided to engage with us go out and tell other people about DuePoint, right? And so we don't have to spend the billions that the insurance industry spends every single year on advertising. We can take that portion of our budget and attribute it to the returns in the rewards program to the benefit of our wealth engineers. And that's basically how our business model works. We have 3 products in the business. The benefit is all financial in nature with all 3 products. You are free to consider one or all 3 products, right? So that's a personal decision you make. The first product is called Access Wealth. It is an investment product, right? So the cost is 324 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund in your name. And we give you a little bit of insurance with this product. So you get 120,000 Rand. You've got this investment, we give you 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover with this investment. And the investment is a no-notice investment. So it's completely flexible. That means you can draw your investment out at any stage. You don't have to give us 30 days notice or 60 days notice. It takes us about 2 or 3 days to process it, and we pay your investment out into your account. Right? And then by example, if you're killed in some form of car accident, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 120,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. So this is the investment product, Access Wealth, product number 1, 324 Rand a month. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Now this is strictly insurance, so this is only insurance. It's called Wealth Guard, it's 299 Rand a month, but this time you get 1.2 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. So notice when I say personal accident cover, I'm not saying funeral cover, I'm not saying life insurance, right? It's personal accident cover. This product and the Access Wealth insurance portion pays you out in the event of death through accident. It means it excludes natural causes and disease. Why would we do that? because this product allows us to offer the product to anyone over the age of 18 without having to profile you from a risk point of view. If you go ask for life insurance, I want to know how old you are, I want to know why you went to doctors, I want to know if you're diabetic, I want to know if you've got cancer in the family, heart disease in the family, and I build a risk profile of you. And that risk profile will dictate what your premium is. You try go get life insurance when you're 70 years old and diabetic. Good luck. Right? This product we're able to offer to anybody over the age of 18. You can have cancer, you can be 70 years old, and the premium remains the same price, and the amount of cover that you get remains the same price. That's why it's a great product. Third product, Wealth Points, 299 Rand a month. What Wealth Points aims to do is to save you money on the money that you're spending every month anyway, right? So we've engaged in a number of partners that have come on board. We've negotiated discounts with each of those partners that we pass on to our Wealth Points members. So, for example, always on Wi-Fi data, if you go to always on, you ask them you want to buy a gig of data, they're going to charge you 100 Rand. But if you're a Wealth Points member, they charge you 37 Rand. That's a big discount, right? All the partners are different. ShopRite, Checkers, all the retailers, smaller margins, right? So the discount's smaller there, but the discounts are different with all the partners. Go look at our website. Go look at YouTube. If you want an in-depth review of our products, go look at the YouTube videos where they were done just last month or just last week. We're adding partners to this product all the time, so there's always new partners being added to this. If you want immediate benefit, Wealth Points is great. If you have any questions around the products, come speak to me. But our products are designed to be straightforward, right? Not complicated products. All right, so those are the three products. Our decision this evening. What is the big decision we need to make? For me, I'm not really interested whether you look at our business and go, this is worthwhile or not. That for me is not of interest. But for the people that are interested in this business proposition, for me, the decision for you is whether you're willing to partake in the downside of entrepreneurship. Did you know there was a downside to entrepreneurship? Some people criticize me. They say, Rob, you mustn't talk about the downside of entrepreneurship. Right? That's a get-rich-quick scheme. Get-rich-quick schemes don't talk about any downside, right? There's no downside. Put 5,000 Rand here, I'll give you 20,000 next week. Where's the downside to that? But we are always realistic in this business. We treat this as an authentic business entrepreneurial opportunity. There is obviously downside. We are asking you to sacrifice time. This is time you typically spend watching TV, relaxing with family. We are asking you to sacrifice time to build this business. If you're willing to endure that, if you can put up the frustration of dealing with people. This is a frustrating business because we deal with people mostly, right? You're dealing with people and it's a volunteer business, which even makes it worse. But if you're willing to endure that, if you're willing to take that on, I can say to you, there's a car waiting for you. There's a recurring income that has no limit waiting for you. There is a change to your life that goes beyond falling to the risk of economy and what your boss thinks of you and what your business is doing and what your industry is doing. I can mitigate that risk for you. I can change what your retirement looks like. I can change what wealth looks like for generations to come. That is the decision for me that you need to make, right? Very straightforward. Becoming a wealth engineer is very easy. Read our code of conduct. It is our contract with you that defines what you can and cannot do as wealth engineers. So please read your code of conduct. Registering as a wealth engineer is very simple. It takes about 7 minutes online. So you can go to our website, click on the blue apply button, 7 minutes, or you can do it on your mobile app. And then you're a wealth engineer, a rank 0 wealth engineer. Complete the online training. So we've got 7 videos that make up our what we call our basic series. Those are basic videos that give you an introduction to every aspect of this business, right? So go invest in that education. It's only 7 hours of your life, and then set goals for yourself. I had training earlier today where I discussed the importance of setting goals for oneself. It's probably one of the most underestimated tasks in business and in personal life. People just are too scared to be honest. People are scared to set goals because what you're doing is you are placing a bet with yourself, right? But it's a very important task. Set a goal for yourself. Decide where you want to be in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 5 years' time, at retirement. Write it. Put it into your calendar, in your diary, and keep yourself accountable to it, because that leads you to preparing a plan to achieving that goal, right? And these are very fundamental aspects of this business. And then the basic activity of speaking to people. That's all you have to do in this business. We've made this business as easy as possible. You connect people to me, I will do all the work. I'll stand up here and I'll speak to as many people as you want me to. I've probably done this presentation now 200 times. Right? And I try to do it enthusiastically every time. Right? Because I believe in what we do in my core, that we can change people's lives. Right? So all you're going to do is connect people. I'll do the work. Brendan will do the work. Our live stream will do the work. Just connect those people to me. But it requires you to go speak to people. Like Don Landon said, one of our wealth engineers, if you're not speaking to someone every day, you're not doing this business. So merchandise for you. So this is not a profit center for us. We designed this because we thought it would help you building your channels of distribution. Consider getting business cards. For me, that is probably the most important thing. I cannot imagine someone coming up to me and going, I've got this most amazing business proposition for you. I need an hour of your time. And I say, okay, great. Can I have your number? Yeah, let me just write it here on the corner of the piece of paper. Just tear it off. There you go. Right? No. We don't do business like that. Get the business cards. You buy these cheap vanilla cards, I will buy the expensive black ones when you get to rank 7. All right. So they're about 600 Rand. You get 500 cards. We've got USB sticks. All our videos are on the USB sticks. So if you don't want to use data, and nowadays you can plug USB sticks into TVs, right? Those pins on the top left corner, those are for people that have got to rank 1 or above. If you rank 0, you can't wear one of those pins. So, in saying that, do you go ask advice from somebody who's not wearing a pin on their lapel? Where's your pin? Oh, there it is. Right? Wear the pin with pride. The moment you get to rank 1, get one of those pins. It means you're on your way to rank 28. Because the person at rank 1 is doing exactly the same thing every day that the person at rank 28 is doing. Do you know that? The person driving around in the R250,000 car is doing the same thing the person at rank 1 is doing. If you can get to rank 1, you've proved to yourself you can get to any rank in our business. Power banks for your cell phones. Don't let your cell phone die. The app running on that phone is fundamental to your business. Then we've got the notebooks, we've got pens, and the caps. Once you become a wealth engineer, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got 500 videos on there, neatly categorized. There's a wealth of information and knowledge there. Download the mobile app. It runs on Android and Apple devices. Once you've downloaded the mobile app, update your profile photo. So take a selfie. We give you 1,000 XP the moment you take a selfie. Right? And so I can track you in my system to see who's who. Right? But you get 1,000 XP. How much XP do you need for rank 1? 1,000. Right? So it's one selfie away, one smile away. No duck lips, no posing. It's not Tinder. It's a business. Right? I'll see you in my system. So do that. Some things to note in our code of conduct. So those are some don'ts that we highlight, very important. The business is designed at a certain segment of population that have typically got the resources to thrive in our business. You need some resources to thrive in this business, unfortunately. It's not a charity business. If you cannot afford one of our products, right, you can't be a wealth engineer. If you don't have access to the internet or you can't afford data, you're going to struggle in this business. If you don't have access to transport, you're going to struggle in this business. These are things to consider when you go out and prospect. We don't want to burden people that are already burdened. Let's empower ourselves, thrive in this business, then we can go out and help people that need help. Don't ever complete a DuePoint application form on behalf of somebody else. This is illegal. It is downright fraudulent. We are not allowed to do this. You can't take someone's details, write it down because they don't know how to use the internet, and then say, I will go do it for you tonight. Right? That's breaking the law. Our contract is done through that application. They have to tick the checkbox that says, I have a mandate to create the investment. We have a mandate to debit your account. They have to go through that. You can assist them by all means, but they have to do it themselves. Don't add direct family members that live with you into your channel. We call this an anti-stacking rule. It's a black and white rule. If they're family, they live with you, they can't be in your channel. They can be in someone else's channel, but not in yours. Right? Straightforward. If you've got family members that don't live with you, they can be in your channel. Okay? Don't start a DuePoint Facebook page. Oh, this drives me crazy. Crazy. What have we had this month? DuePoint Johannesburg page got started this month. That was my present for New Year's. DuePoint products got started the week after that. This week, DuePoint International was started. That was very exciting because I didn't know we had gone international yet. Guys, it's breaking financial regulation. You can't start a Facebook page and put our logo or our name onto that. Right? You can't mention us. You can't mention our products, our subsidiaries, our third parties. You're breaking FSB regulation. We get into a lot of trouble, so we've got to do everything that we do to show that we're mitigating this risk, which costs us money, and we suspend you immediately. So we've got systems that find you on the internet like that, right? To get a report every morning. Then client service has to go suspend you, and then if you want to be unsuspended, you've got to phone client service, say, why am I suspended? Client service says, well, you've done all these Facebook posts, you've got to prove that you've taken them all down, and then we unsuspend you. What a waste of time and money. Please don't do stuff on social media, right? No advertising, please. Don't send lead wealth engineers to DuePoint unattended. This point speaks to our process when we deal with prospects. So the problem arose when people started coming into our head office saying, I found Bob on Facebook. He told me about this thing called DuePoint, and he said, I must just come here, and Brendan or Rob will take care of me. Who's doing the business here, right? That's not the way to look after prospects. You don't know who you're going to bring into your business. There are countless records of people that bring strangers into the business that they've prospected one-on-one, and those people have gone on to do wonderful things for them in their businesses. Treat everyone with dignity. Always be professional when you deal with people, right? So that's what the point speaks to. Don't do things on Facebook and send people there and be half-assed about everything. You've got to always be professional in this business. I remind you, so tomorrow is the last day that tickets for our inaugural Converge Awards evening are available. Tomorrow is the last day. We've got invitations that have been sent out because it's invitation only to rank 4s and up. So we've got invitations that got out to rank 4s, and these people haven't secured their tickets. So I'm reminding everybody that's got a ticket, that's close to rank 4, and that's on the camera as well to the rest of the country. Tomorrow's the last day. If you don't have the ticket's going to be given to somebody else. Okay. Guys, I remind you, we're done. But I remind you, every single morning you wake up, there's one person in your life that decides what they're going to be doing that day. What you're going to be thinking about, what you're going to task yourself with, whether you can be excited with your future or not. One person. I want you to make the best of 2018. I want you to look at DuePoint and see it as a vehicle. DuePoint's just a vehicle, right? It's not a means to an, we are the means to an end, right? The income that you produce here, everybody's got a different end. You might want to help family, you might want to start a different business, you want to do that. You want to empower yourselves in unique ways. I'm hoping you'll use DuePoint as a vehicle because we are here to support you. I'm here to support you. So go do it. Make 2018 count. There's a business class ticket for your whole family waiting at the end of this year available for you. And that's just part of it, right? Early beginnings. This is the beginning. I promise you this is the beginning. We're 2 years in. We've already got rank 9s. We've got rank 10s. We've got rank 11s. We've got rank 12s already after 24 months. I don't want you to look back at your friends that were involved in DuePoint 10 years later and they'd ranked 20, 21, 22, and you can't go on holiday with them because you can't afford to, right? Let's do it together. So I wish you the best of luck for the year. If you have any questions, come speak to me. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings. Thank you.